Awesome. Welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. If you're on the other side of the world, good night. Hey, shout out to Ireland. Hey, Chantel. Summer Star, what's happening? Grand Rising. Feeling good today. I'm feeling really good. Feeling refreshed. Happy to be here. And just overall supported, for real. So I'm so happy that people are able to log in and tap in today. Okay. We're going to get started with our meditation today. And, this is the beginning of spring. And this is just a great time to set some good intentions. A lot of things that have been underneath the ground are starting to rise. And, with that, we'll just start to plant a few seeds for our day, and for the rest of the week, and for the closing of this month into the next. Let's begin. If you're in a place that is allowing you to relax your face completely, go ahead and relax your face completely. You might start by closing the eyes, but then everything around that can start to kind of have a ripple effect by that letting go. So the eyelids might be able to softly land on each other, the top eyelid on the bottom eyelid. And then with that, you can also allow your cheekbones to settle. As the cheekbones settle, there's some room for the small muscles around the eyelids, underneath the eyelids, to also soften. And from there we have a little bit of space in the hollow out points of the eye sockets. Just above the top eyelid is the eyebrows. You can allow them to relax as well. And with that, the forehead might have a softening that allows your crown, the top of the head, to create some length. And creating some length from the top of your head, there's also now room for the neck to have a little bit more space, a little bit more length, so that when you breathe in, there's a long, almost tube-like direction with your breath. And with you breathe out, there may be room to even lengthen more. The shoulders have an opportunity to settle, and there can be this sense of uprightness from the crown up. You might imagine everything above your shoulders has a sense of float to it. And everything below the shoulders is able to root down. In between the shoulders and the crown of the head is so much of where our processing takes place, where we hold our information and thus move about our reality. Just taking some time to notice. Along the way, you may see that different files in your mind come up, almost like various bits of paperwork, various bits of photography, various bits of audio, because the mind is very much like the laptops, the devices in which we've been able to connect with in this very moment. If there's ever a moment where there's a file in your mind that feels stuck, just imagine you could swipe up out of it, close that tab, and that there was just a little bit more bandwidth, a little bit more processing power. And in the physical body, just more space to be. Feel free to lick the lips or even take a dry swallow to clear the throat, to help soften the center of the throat. And then you can allow yourself to repeat these words if it resonates with you. In this moment, I'm taking a little bit of time for me. In this moment, there is increasing value in the raising of my consciousness. In this moment, I am simply allowed to exist. In this moment, I am connected and content. Let's take a cycle of breath together wherever you are. feeling the flow of your breath, moving it in, moving it out. And if there's any tension around the neck, and even if there isn't, there's a bit of room to explore the physical body here. You can slowly turn your head to the left, and then gradually bring it back to center. You can slowly turn your head to the right, and then bring it back to center. You can tip your head up to the sky, and then slowly bring it back to the center. You can slowly tip your chin to your chest. And then bring your head back to center. You might imagine in this moment that your energy starts in the middle, in the center, and then spreads out in all the various directions, both north, south, east, and west, and also on diagonals, and forwards and backwards. You might imagine from the center of your awareness that there's room for an expansive, almost bubble-like aura that both protects your energy in the space that you are in and also incubates it in a way where it continues to grow and develop and possibly even expand further. You can treat this bubble like a living organism so that when you inhale, it's able to stretch. It stretches to the very edges of the body. And when you breathe out, it's able to contract back to the center, like a pulse. At times, you might even imagine that this inhale that you have is expanding the aura beyond the body, maybe even to the edges of the room. And all of that energy that is used for you comes back to center. Trust the filtration system of your body so that your inhales allow the aura to get expansive, to pick up what's around you. But the exhales only bring back to you what serves you best, and everything else can fall to the wayside. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. Take another cycle. Watching the movement of your breath flow like a river. Like a continuous current, no matter how much space is between each breath. Just as if you were sitting at the bank of a river, as something travels down the river, it could take some time before it circles back to you. And noticing the gap between each breath, allow yourself the stillness, the easiness of knowing that at some point this breath will round its way back into your frame. As we imagine the flow of our energy being expanded and sent out to the spaces we occupy, and even beyond that, expanding to different places across the world, it may take some time before that breath cycle comes back to you. So giving yourself the chance in between each breath for that organic, natural gap that resides in between. You might even say this or just think this to yourself. In between my breath is a universe of consciousness. In between my breath is a universe of consciousness. The reality of our body here is that things will organically pass up that we may feel the need to address. If there's a need to address it, you can address it. And if there's no need to address it, then it need not be addressed. In this moment, with all of the information that we can easily and readily availably access, you might take this time, this intentional time, to choose what is it that I want to center around me. There's a sense of balancing out where you've been in a state of effort and production. You might see this moment as a balance to that, and witnessing what you've actually produced. If this is a moment of insight or looking for an arranging or rearranging of the goals you have ahead of you, this may be a moment where instead of organizing, you allow yourself space and see what comes up in alignment for you. In these moments, we give ourselves a chance to examine without judgment, see what's in our orbit, embrace the things that still feel relevant, while also giving our sense a chance to decide, is this something I still need? Maybe there's some aspect of it that I feel myself letting go. We'll take a few more cycles of breath here, and then we'll allow just a few open spaces for empty spaces as a way for the processing of our mind to digest the intentions we have in our heart. So if there's something that you wanted to wish for or pray for or intend for, allow for it to come up into your heart and mind with as much clarity as it possibly can. And if there's any worry about, is this clear enough? Is this direct enough? Is it special enough? Release that stream of thought and just allow for the space. And maybe, just maybe, it comes to you. Give yourself a smile here to stretch the corners of the face, to somewhat break the passive stillness in the meditation face. Allow that smile to stretch to the corners of the face. And then allow yourself to take a breath into that smile. Let it get into the wrinkles and the folds as you breathe big. And as you exhale, maybe relax the face gradually. Squeeze the fist and release them gradually. Roll the shoulders back. Give yourself a little bit of room to stretch. Give yourself a good morning or good afternoon stretch. Even take a moment to twist it out. Whoo! Thank you for taking the time today. Hopefully something we did has some value for the rest of your day. I'll hang around for a little bit if anyone has any questions or just wants to chat about anything. Again, thank you for taking this time. Namaste.